Hey y'all, this is Casandra Bollinger. I am coming to you today for part 2 of sponsoring. So in part 1, we talked about how to get teamies. Now, part 2, what do you do with them? Now you have a team and you're growing, and a team is you and one other. Like, now you are a team. It's not having 5 or 10 or 30 makes you a team. You and one other person that's underneath of you now makes you a team. So what do you do? How do you go about helping them? How do you go about, like, what now is your role? There's a lot of questions, and they're all going to be different as your business grows. It's hard to tell you exactly what to do because it's going to depend on who your teamie is. You can start this business, you can get teamies. People will join you for different reasons. There are different things that go on, and that is one of those things that you are going to have to decide, and it's going to change. Your decision to change it will change over the life of your career, your business. Scentsy has a great place to get marketing information, not marketing, training for sponsoring. There's a step that says new sponsor. So you can go through Scentsy's training. I'm going to highlight a couple of different things that I have done, I'm doing, and what I'd like to change on what I'm doing. In the beginning, when I started, I had a lot of people start with me, so we were all learning together. So me going after shooting star and hitting the 500 in the first 15 days, we all were kind of doing that very quickly after each other. So it's real easy for me to talk about all the things I did 2 years ago when it was 2 years ago. As I've grown in the business and as I've done Scentsy now for almost 2 years, it's a little bit harder to remember exactly what that excitement and that thrill of getting the sales and getting close to a goal. You're going to have different teamies do different things. There's going to be some that sign up and you honestly are just answering a couple different questions. They're just shooting, skyrocketing all the way through their training, their first things first. They're looking up videos. They're figuring out how to do this. And they're basically trying to ask the question to just comprehend something that they've learned. You're going to have other people that sign up that tell you, I'll let you know. I'm not going to do it until I get my kit. I don't know. Oh, I haven't opened my kit. I don't know. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start it next month. I'm not sure. I just haven't had time. And on those, I'm going to be very honest, bless and release. And when I say that, if you are constantly reaching to your downline and you're constantly asking them, what trainings do you need? What would you like to do? But they're not responding, or they're like, I don't know. Oh, I'll try and make it. You're wasting a lot of energy for someone who doesn't want it. And this is hard to say because in the beginning, I took everything personally. If they didn't hit an incentive or if they didn't hit these different mile markers, I took it as, what did I do wrong? But not everybody has the drive I have. Not everybody wants it as much as I do. So you have to remember that as a sponsor or as an upline or as when you hit director and star director and superstar director, that you are there to guide them. You are there to answer the questions of maybe, the comprehension. Like, I saw this video, they are doing this. How do I do that? Like, sometimes you just kind of have to help do the push start where you just move them just a little bit and then they start moving on their own. The ones that are sitting there and they haven't gotten the gas, their battery's dead, they don't know where they're going or what they're going to do, it's hard to push them in a right direction when they don't know what they're doing. Your best bet is to let them know that you are available at any time to answer any questions, and have them reach out to you when they're ready to go the next step. It's hard to judge what each person will or won't do. Now, as somebody who has sponsored off and on almost 60 people, now when I say off and on, I had a lot of people that have signed up. There's quite a few that have fallen off. And what that means is that they didn't do the 200 PRV in 1 month over 12 months. Now, remember, I started with COVID regulations in the Scentsy system. So that means I didn't have much time of the 4 months, being active 4 months, and you got, I guess, basically deactivated. So since I've started, it has been that you had to do the 200 PRV minimum in a 1 month in a 12-month rolling period. So there was a lot of people that stayed on my team for a year before they were deactivated. I love when a new consultant starts because it reminds me of when I started. And so I get very excited and I'm like, hey, here's this information and here's this information and here's this information. And I'm like, ooh, maybe I threw too much information at you. Because in the beginning, there was a list. Guys, the list is in our team page, but I had a huge list of everything you need to know as a Scentsy consultant. All the things. Now, these videos at the time in 2020 were about a year or so old. So now they're about 4 years old, which I probably need to update the sheet. But I had put like all the lists of all the things that you would need to know starting out that I needed to know as a new consultant. How to promote, how to make them more of a paycheck. What do I do? What's the requirements? How do you get teamies? How do you talk to different people? How do you do this? How do you do that? Like I was constantly looking and looking and looking. And so I always assumed, which don't ever do that everybody who signed up under me wanted the same thing. But everybody's on a different journey. Like my journey, I needed the paycheck. I had to have a paycheck because I was supporting my family. And my husband was working, but I had lost my entire income. So with that, I had to push as hard as I could every single day, all the time, 7 days a week. We're talking like 12 months a year, guys. I have not slowed down up until the beginning of this year. I did get a second job, which I consider Scentsy my first job, and that is my second job. So I did get a secondary income. It has been very different this time around. I don't have a lot of extra time, and I'm not just sitting there training on my Scentsy stuff all day long. I'm actually doing it all in the evening after I'm done with my second job. And there are different things that I have done. Basically is that I start them off and I give them information. I allow them to go through the information as they can. Now, the ones that are going to be the self-starters and the ones that are going to be wanting to do this more as a business or as an everyday thing or maybe 3 days a week or more are going to be the ones who are going to reach out to you anyways. Now, as a sponsor, as a team leader, as a ex-director, I will say this, that training yourself and being able to train someone else is not an easy task. Everybody learns differently. Everybody associates different information together. So what I relate to, I grew up playing sports. I grew up around sports my entire life. So a lot of times when I do different stories or analogies that people will understand, it is normally sports related. Now I could easily have people on my team that are like, I don't know what a first down is. Or I don't know what a 3-point conversion is. I don't know what a 3-point field goal is. Like there's different terminology that I could use, or maybe they don't know what a home run is, or, turning two. There's so many different terminologies that I've used that there was a lot of people kind of got left out because they weren't quite sure what the association was. So as you start building a team and as you start looking towards how to train them or how to get them moving to the next level, you're going to have to figure out some kind of system to figure out where they want to be. Something that I am working on right now currently is to revamp my jot form and send it out to everybody in my team. And that is so I can kind of get an update of what they are wanting to do. What information are they wanting to get? Sometimes a brand new person that's starting Scentsy doesn't even know what they want. So how are they supposed to tell you what they need? And as this goes on, this may be something that I do every month, of kind of like checking in with everybody. I may do it every 2 months. I'm not quite sure. It's going to be a work in progress, but that is how systems are created, a work in progress. As you have new teamies, you do need to start creating some kind of systems to show them what you can do for different things. How is your follow-up? How do you get Facebook parties, or how do you get people to host a home party? You know, you have to try the different things to figure out how to tell them. Now, I will tell you this, I am not everybody's cup of tea or shot of whiskey or whatever analogy you want to use. But I always suggest that they find someone that they can follow on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram that grabs their attention, that makes them want to do more or do what they're doing. And as you go through and train yourself and you are trying to build a team and you're helping your teamies along the way, what you do today is not what you'll do in 6 months. And what you do in 6 months is not what you're going to do in a year. And whatever team you start off with in the beginning is not going to be the same team that you get to director with. I can tell you right now, I got to director in 4 months with a team of 12. Out of that team of 12, I think I have 4 people still working their Scentsy business. So there's a lot of flux, a lot of up and downs. There's going to be times that we go through, we were in a pandemic, but our sales were soaring. Right now, our sales are not soaring. They're starting to plateau, or they're starting to decrease from what we did last year. So we went through a huge hyper growth. So right now we're kind of dwindling back down. We had so many teamies and people that joined Scentsy between 21, 22, or 2020 and then 2021. And now we're starting to see it leveling off again. A lot of people started because they wanted to do Scentsy, but when they realized that they actually had to work at doing Scentsy, that it was not for them. Now, Scentsy is a great, amazing business that you can work this business however works for you the best. You do not have to log in and clock in and work a certain amount of hours and then you're just done. When you're an entrepreneur and when you have a small business, there are more things than just in 8 hours that you have to do. And depending on your customer base, it is not just 8 to 5 and then you clock out and you're done. Sometimes you'll have customers that work overnights. So they might send you messages at 11 or 12 o'clock. And then other times you're going to have customers that they just got off work from working overnight and they're messaging you at 5 o'clock in the morning. So if you're an early riser or a late nighter, what do? You turn your notifications off. When you are sleeping, turn your notifications off. So first, it doesn't bother you or wake you up. And also, it doesn't bother your spouse or your significant other. And you can get some sleep. I've seen a lot of different SSDs talk about setting office hours for their teamies. You're allowed to ask questions up until this time. And then anything after this time will be answered the next day. Or they take Sundays off completely, or they take a Saturday off, or they don't work any Fridays at all. And so if you have questions, you ask the team, and then they'll get back to you if the question isn't answered. I have not quite found my way to keep my boundaries on my time, because with us only having 38 people with this team, that's me included, so 37 others and me, I don't have a lot of people that are asking for my time. There's a lot of people on this team and a lot of people that may be watching this training that I may not hear from a lot. Maybe it's because they got it. And there's a lot of people that tell me, nope, I got it. I got it. And you're going to get that. They got it. And then you're going to start checking your workstation. You're going to start looking at the numbers of stuff that's going on. And then you're like, well, do they have it? Or do they just not want to respond to me? Sometimes it's a little bit of both. And as someone who is helping and training, like, I'm not your boss. I can't tell you what to do. I don't dock your pay if you don't message 5 people today. I don't dock your pay if you don't go live. All I'm here to do is be your cheerleader. All I'm here to do is help you find the training that you need. If it's not given to you by me, then I can share videos of it. So when I told you that this training is all about what to do, it's going to be up to you. It really is. It's going to be up to the team that you build, the team that you cultivate, the team that you grow. And again, what I do now and what you do now and what you do later and what I do later may never be the same. But it will depend upon you. You can do as much as you need to do, but you have to realize that the people that want to respond to you, the people that want stuff out of this business are going to be messaging you. They are going to be showing up for trainings. They're going to show up for the different things that they said they would. So you can't make anybody show up. All you can do is offer the information and provide it for them. How they utilize it and use it, that is going to be up to them. So growing a team is basically being there as a goalie of receiving information, being able to pass it back out to a teammate, finding information and guiding them where they need to go. But it may not necessarily be anything more than that. You can't make people train. You can't make people go and find information. You can't make anybody do anything. As a team leader, as a sponsor, as a director, a star director, an SSD, the only thing that you can do is be available, train yourself so you know the information that they may be looking for. Go around the workstation. I promise you guys, you won't break it. But if you want to really dive in on how to build a team, and you want to really dive in on how to cultivate a community, a friendship, a family within your Scentsy team, Scentsy does have the information under your trainings tab. It says new sponsor. There's also another thing in there that says new consultants. So if you have a new person who has started or restarted, you can always guide them there. Scentsy does have all the information and all the trainings that you need to be successful in your business. The thing is that we always try to find the easy way. We always try to find the fast way, the surefire way. Guys, there's never going to be a surefire way. There's never going to be anything that is surefire. All you can do is grow in the knowledge. You can try and do. And guys, you're going to fail. And I know that sounds harsh, but I'm not a great leader to everybody. I'm a great leader to people, but not to every single person on my team or anybody who's in my downline. There are some people that don't enjoy watching my videos or my trainings and have told me so. They say they don't learn anything because there's too much other information, or I do start to ramble. So you're going to have those people that don't relate to you, but that's okay. You can be there to cheer them on. You can be there to, say congratulations when they hit something. So, guys, I'm still learning the part number 2, and I always will. I know there's so many things I could be doing with this group, and there's so much things I could be doing for y'all. And I don't hit every single part. But I will tell you this. If you put your heart into it, and you actually come from a background of you want to be helpful, you will be. If you want your team to show up, you need to show up. If you want your team to grow up, you need to be in the process of learning how to build up your things. So if your teamie asks you, how do I get high PRV? and you're not even getting $200 a month, what would you tell them? It's kind of hard to tell someone how to do things when you don't know yourself. So make sure, as a new sponsor, as a new leader, you're cultivating a person who's wanting to build a business. Or are you? I know it's so hard. It's so confusing. And there's not always an easy answer. You almost have to take each individual teamie individually to figure out what needs to be done. So again, not only are you being a sponsor, not only are you being a trainer, you're almost needing to be a counselor, because you need to find out why are you here? Like, what is Scentsy doing for you that you need, or you think you need, or what do you want to get out of it? There's so many different questions you can ask each one of your new teamies, and some will answer and some won't respond. So it's hard to tell you all the things that you can learn, all the things that you need to train on, all the things that you need to do to be an amazing sponsor, amazing counselor, amazing trainer, or amazing director. It's all one of those things. It's a web and flow of a river. Everything is changing. Some things get easier. Sometimes teams have to overcome hardships, either the drama in the team or outside the team, or that's happening on in the world. And, somebody didn't like this post and somebody didn't like that post. There's always going to be things, because we are human. So I know that may not have answered any of your questions on number 2, how to keep your teamies, but it's just a constant learning experience. It's a constant human interaction. You can do as much as you want. You can do as little as you want, but to build great leaders, you have to show them. Do the things that you want done. Guys, you guys kind of know a little bit of my story on the reason why, I don't talk a lot to the upline, but I have decided to cultivate the environment that I want for our team. We started doing the Work It Wednesdays in the 5150 group because it wasn't being done for us. We didn't have anybody to go to for training. So I started training myself to be able to do those trainings. I created my team page so that way I could cultivate an environment for you guys that I wanted. Every experience that you have is going to mold and grow your business one way or the other. So have a good heart on it. Make sure that you understand that some people don't know what they don't know. And I'm not expecting you, and just don't expect me to know everything. But together we can grow this business. We can take your business to any level you want. I promise you. And I'm going to say this last thing, and I know I keep saying it over and over, but if you can or you can't, you are correct. All right, guys, I love you all. I hope you have a blessed night, and I'll talk to you guys later.